So before we get into this, I want you to know that I actually ate a piece of hardtack that I made 6 months ago. No mold, no smell, practically unchanged from the day I made it. And once you understand why, you're going to look at this little cracker completely differently. Hardtack is one of those foods that sounds like a joke until you realize it kept armies alive for centuries. We're talking Roman legions, Civil War soldiers, sailors crossing the Atlantic, gold rush prospectors. This was survival food before survival food was a thing people put on YouTube. And the reason it worked, the reason a soldier could stuff it in his pocket in April and still be eating it in October, comes down to one principle that food scientists still talk about today: water activity. Remove the moisture from food, and you remove the environment that bacteria and mold need to survive. Hardtack takes that principle and basically weaponizes it. The recipe is almost insultingly simple. You need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of salt, and between a half cup and 2/3 of a cup of water. That's it. 3 ingredients: no yeast, no fat, no sugar, no eggs. Every single one of those things I just listed would shorten the shelf life dramatically. Fat goes rancid, sugar can ferment. Eggs introduce moisture and proteins that microorganisms love. The Civil War soldiers making this stuff weren't following a health trend. They were following survival logic that had been refined over hundreds of years of armies learning what doesn't kill you in a knapsack for 6 months. Mix your flour and salt together first. Then add your water gradually. You want a stiff dough, much stiffer than bread dough, stiffer even than pasta dough. If your dough feels soft or tacky, add more flour. You're going for something that almost feels like it's fighting back when you need it. Knead it for about 5 minutes until it comes together into a smooth, fairly dense ball. Don't overhydrate this. That is the #1 mistake people make, and it is also the reason their hardtack goes bad. Every drop of extra water you put in there is the enemy of longevity. Roll it out to about 1/4 inch thick. Civil War era hardtack was actually a pretty standardized size, roughly 3 inches by 3 inches, though field conditions obviously made that inconsistent. Cut yours into squares or rectangles, whatever size you want. Now here's the step that looks cosmetic, but is absolutely functional. You need to poke holes in it. Use a fork, a skewer, a nail if you're feeling historically authentic. Make a grid of holes across the entire surface, punching all the way through. These holes do 2 things. They allow steam to escape during baking so you don't get air pockets that could trap moisture, and they help the cracker bake more evenly throughout. Civil War soldiers call these holes wormholes, not because worms made them, but because when weevils got into a barrel of hardtack, those holes were where you'd see the evidence. Which, yes, we are going to talk about. Bake these at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes, then flip them and bake for another 30 minutes. You want them completely dried out, not just cooked. The color should be a pale golden tan, not white, not brown. If they're browning heavily, your oven might be too hot. What you're doing in that oven is more like dehydrating than baking in the traditional sense. You're driving out every molecule of moisture you possibly can. When they come out, let them cool completely on a wire rack, and I mean completely. Don't package them while they're still warm, because that warmth will create condensation inside whatever container you use, and you'll be undoing everything you just did. Let them sit for a couple of hours minimum. Now here's where storage becomes the whole ballgame. If you want your hardtack to actually achieve that legendary shelf life, you need to store it in an airtight container away from moisture and light. A glass jar with a tight lid works great. Some people add a food-safe desiccant packet to absorb any residual moisture. Keep it somewhere cool and dry. A root cellar was the historical answer. A pantry or cabinet works perfectly today. Under these conditions, properly made hardtack genuinely can last years. There are documented examples of hardtack from the Civil War era that still exists in museums, and while I wouldn't recommend eating those particular pieces, the point stands. Now I promised you we'd talk about the weevils because you can't do an honest hardtack video without addressing the bug situation. Civil War soldiers did not have access to airtight modern containers. Hardtack got shipped in wooden barrels and stored in field conditions, which meant that over time, Insect larvae would get into it. Weevils, specifically. Soldiers dealt with this in a few ways. Some ate them anyway because at a certain point calories are calories and you don't have options. Others would soak their hardtack in their coffee because soaking was already standard practice given how rock hard this stuff was, and the bugs would float to the surface and could be skimmed off. Others ate in the dark so they simply couldn't see what they were consuming. The fact that soldiers referred to hardtack as worm castles and tooth dullers and sheet iron crackers tells you something about the relationship they had with their food. These were not happy nicknames, which actually brings up a really important point about what hardtack actually tastes like, because let's be honest, it tastes like very little. It's faintly salty, faintly wheaty, and then it's just texture which is dense and hard and not particularly pleasant on its own. Soldiers ate it crumbled into soups, fried in bacon grease, soaked in coffee, baked into a kind of porridge called skillygaly. They almost never ate it straight, because straight hardtack is pretty miserable. And yet they carried it because miserable food that keeps you alive beats no food completely. Modern people who make hardtack for camping or emergency preparedness usually pair it with peanut butter, canned fish, cheese, honey, or soup for exactly the same reason Civil War soldiers did. The cracker itself is a vehicle. It's caloric ballast. It gives you something to carry in your pack that doesn't require refrigeration, doesn't crush easily, doesn't attract animals the way strong-smelling food does, and contains enough carbohydrates to keep you moving. If you want to make a slightly more palatable version while keeping the core longevity properties intact, you can add dried herbs to the dough. Rosemary, thyme, and garlic powder all work without significantly impacting shelf life because they contain almost no moisture. Some people add a tiny amount of olive oil, maybe a tablespoon, which does shorten the shelf life somewhat, but makes the texture considerably less punishing. If you go that route, store it more carefully and use it within a year rather than banking on decade-long storage. The thing I keep coming back to with hardtack is what it represents in terms of food technology. These weren't people with vacuum sealers and oxygen absorbers in modern food science textbooks. These were bakers working in field conditions, figuring out through trial and error what kept soldiers alive on long campaigns. And they landed on something so fundamentally correct that the principles are still valid today. Strip out the water, strip out the fat, strip out anything that spoilage organisms can use as a foothold, and you can make food that outlasts everything else in your kitchen by decades. Make a batch this weekend, seriously. It takes maybe 20 minutes of active work. Leave one piece on your counter as an experiment. Put the rest in a jar. Come back in 6 months and compare. That jar is going to win by a lot. And when it does, you'll understand why millions of soldiers trusted their lives to something that looks like a very boring cracker.